Hey guys, how's everybody's weekends going? Pretty good here. I'm sure everybody watched The Mandalorian. Really amazing season finale. What I wanted to do was just have a casual chat because some things are they don't bother me. They get annoying. But like I said, just casual. I have like a couple of notes, not really prepared, so we'll see how this goes. I want to preface by saying I love Star Wars, everything. There hasn't been a show or movie I haven't liked. I remember when I first watched the prequel trilogy, I remember not liking them, but I think I watched them when I was in my early 20s maybe. And for whatever reason, I just thought they sucked. But I'm 41 now. I've watched them a couple of times since, and I've pretty much gotten to like them. I like the stories. There are certain elements maybe that I don't like. There's some CGI maybe I don't like, but that's not a big deal to me anymore. I watch it for the story, and from episode 1 to episode 9, I enjoy that arc. Like, maybe it wasn't told 100% properly or perfectly. Maybe certain parts were rushed, but if I'm just looking at the plot points, I mean, there's not much I don't like. I like the whole arc. It makes sense to me. The 9 movies are a trilogy based off of the Skywalkers. So I go in understanding that anything that happens within these movies, the Skywalkers or the Emperor or somebody is going to be involved. Like, I just know that. And for better or worse, that's how it is. Maybe if they didn't plan this to be 9 movies, it would have been a little bit different, but I don't care. Like, I like it. I understand if people don't like it. That's totally fine. There are certain aspects of, say, the Last Jedi that I don't like. There's certain aspects of The Rise of Skywalker that I don't like. But I do like those movies. Just like I enjoyed The Mandalorian, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy the Ahsoka Tano show. I have no idea who she was until this, but my friend told me to watch the Clone Wars movie and then the Clone Wars show. And she obviously was in the Clone Wars movie, and that's her origin, and I'm going to watch those. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the Boba Fett show that's coming out next year. I'm excited for season 3 of The Mandalorian. I'm excited for all of these shows. The thing that just annoys me is hypocrites. Like, people who they don't know what they're talking about, or they dislike something in one place, but they like that somewhere else. And that just doesn't make sense to me. So I want to keep this video hopefully under like 10 minutes. So it's not going to be in depth. I'm not a Star Wars nerd. Like, I don't know everything about Star Wars. I didn't read the comics. I haven't watched all of the animated yet. Like, I would say a casual fan who might know more than the normal person. And I honestly think these movies and shows are geared towards me. Like, if you're a nerd and you know everything about Star Wars, they already know you're going to see that movie. Like, they have your money already. They don't have mine. And that's just how I feel about even Marvel too. I love the movies, but I got into the comic books from the movie. So I'm the fan. I'm who they're trying to get into the theater. They're trying to get my money, not yours. They already know you're going to pay. So on that note, there's a couple of things. Well, there's more than a couple, but I listed a few just to keep this video short that kind of confused me, I guess. One, I loved the finale. I was very happy to see Luke Skywalker at the end. It was pretty cool, even though the CGI was terrible. That's a geek moment. I don't care what I'm watching. If he shows up, that's crazy. I love that Boba Fett was in this. He didn't do anything in the original trilogy. He was a throwaway character. They told you he was the baddest bounty hunter, but they didn't show you that he was. So this is cool that we can see that. And he's getting his own show. I love it. Fan service. What else is there? R2-D2 is cool showing up. I loved all of the other characters like Bo-Katan. No. Is that her name? I don't know. You could correct me in the comments. But all of the other Mandalorian that showed up, I loved. I didn't know who any of them were. I didn't know what the Darksaber was. But I loved it. It's expanding the universe for me, and I love that. Giancarlo Esposito, wasted. And I'm not going to go in depth, but his character, how do you take Gus Fring, like the best villain in maybe modern history of television? I won't say all time, but Breaking Bad, Gus Fring was amazing. And they got him to be the villain of this season. He did nothing, pretty much. I mean, maybe they're setting him up for next season, but this season, I think Giancarlo Esposito was wasted. But tell me what you think in the comments. All right. With that, here are some of the points I want to make. Okay. So there are people who hate The Rise of Skywalker. And I'm just going to list 3 reasons why that I've seen on Twitter. They'll say, it's too Skywalker. Like, this show is too Skywalker, too much fan service, too much relying on the original trilogy. Okay, if that's your position, fine. You don't have to like the movie if that is your position. The second one is they were upset that the Emperor survived. Like, how could he survive being thrown down a shaft? Like, he was dead. We never heard from him again. He was dead. I don't like that he came back. Fine. Totally your opinion. And the third one is, and this one was funny, I think this actually started with The Force Awakens. Everyone complained, not everyone, a lot of people complained about cash grabs. Like, why do we need BB-8 to sell toys? He's worthless. I remember in this, I think it was this one, The Rise of Skywalker, what do we need that rolling droid just to sell toys, right? That's what people said. All it is a cash grab. Nothing to the story, just to sell toys, and they hated it. Fine, totally fine. Those were, I guess, my top 3 points. But then these same people love The Mandalorian, and they kind of praise it as like high cinema, which is fine. I liked it. I loved it. I love everything, pretty much. So I'm cool with it. But how could you say The Rise of Skywalker was too Skywalker and relied way too much on the original trilogy when so did The Mandalorian? The Mandalorian takes place within episodes 1 and 9. They brought back Boba Fett. He's from the original trilogy. He was dead. Like, everyone's happy to see him. I was happy to see him, but I didn't complain about The Rise of Skywalker. I like fan service. So how could you complain about something being too reliant on the original trilogy and then just bringing a story that takes place within that? Baby Yoda, Grogu, I guess a descendant of Yoda, original trilogy. Everybody loved it, but they complained about The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, pretty much the whole Mandalorian season, they go to Tatooine, original trilogy. Obviously, it's a planet. You could end up there anyway. But they kind of like hammered it that, Dune was from there. Especially in the last episode where that dude was like egging her on about watching her planet explode. Fan service, original trilogy. Everyone loved it. The second point was they can't believe the Emperor survived. Okay, like, this is fantasy, but think of it as reality. The Emperor was, or is, the most powerful being in all of the galaxy that we have met this far. And people can't fathom he survived being thrown down a shaft. The dude shoots electricity out of himself. He is electricity, so they think he got electrocuted to death. But they are very happy and totally understand how a clone got eaten by a sarlacc, escaped it, and lost his fucking armor. Like, make that make sense. You can't hate one for those reasons and like the other one. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's just inconsistent to me. If you hate both, fine. If you like both, fine. But I don't understand how you could like one and hate the other one. That does not make sense. And the third point is the cash grab point, where every droid, or remember those snow creatures in The Rise of Skywalker, sorry, in The Last Jedi, those ice little, they looked like little fox that were running around. When they dropped in the trailer, people were like, those are so cute, those are for kids, it's only to sell toys. They add nothing to the plot. Fine. Baby Yoda added nothing to this plot. Everybody loved him. He was pretty much a character made to sell toys. What did he do? He was the MacGuffin. And people will always say they hate, I guess, J.J. Abrams because of his, like, I don't know what they call it, the magic box or his mystery box and the use of MacGuffins. Baby Yoda was a MacGuffin, did nothing. All it was for him to, the Mandalorian, to pick him up and drop him off. Like, he was the only central, I guess, plot thread to Baby Yoda was Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano. And they're from the original trilogy, or, you know, animation in between. So it's like, make up your mind. Like, I understand. I loved Grogu and Baby Yoda. I loved BB-8. I love the little rolling droid. I love it all. Like, how could you hate one and love the other one? It doesn't make sense to me. And I know, well, 5 people will probably see this video, so I'll probably have 5 people yelling at me in the comments. But it's just how I feel. You can't like something about a show and hate that exact same thing about a different property. It doesn't make sense to me. So now I'll just go into, because I'm sure after hearing this, a lot of people will think I'm one of those people who hate The Last Jedi and love The Rise of Skywalker. No, I like them all. And there are pieces, like I said, that I don't like, that I would have done differently. But I cannot dislike a movie because it wasn't what I wanted. I hope something happens, and if it doesn't happen, I'll be disappointed. But I'm not going to always get what I want, and you're not going to always get what you want. So, you know, deal with it, pretty much. Okay, so for The Last Jedi, the one thing that I didn't like, or I thought, not didn't make sense, but we'll just say I didn't like it, was the way Luke Skywalker acted towards Rey in her training. And I'm not going to talk for 20 minutes. It's just basically, to me, watching these movies, the whole point kind of was you're not who your father is. So Luke Skywalker was always scared that he was going to turn into his father. He didn't. Ben Solo wanted to be like, I guess, Luke. He wanted to be a Jedi. He wanted to be, I guess, pure like his father, Han Solo. But he didn't turn into his father. Like, he went the opposite way. And maybe it was because of that scene with Luke, you know, thinking about killing him. Who knows if it was real or not. Maybe it was just an exaggeration. But Luke could have gone bad. He didn't. Kylo Ren or Ben Solo should have gone good, but he didn't. So I get from this, you're your own person. You're not your father, you're not your mother. Anything can happen. So apparently now we learn that Luke is training Grogu. So unless Grogu turns into a Sith, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't have wanted to train Rey, like in reality. Because he should know, like, okay, Ben didn't turn out the way I wanted. You know, but I, Luke Skywalker, did not succumb to the dark side. So maybe I should train this woman. Like, that's how I feel. If you feel differently and you think that this is the way Luke would have acted, that's fine. I'm just giving you one example of something that I personally thought didn't make sense from the way I interpreted all of the movies. Okay, so now I'll just go into the Rise of Skywalker. What I didn't like there was that Snoke was a clone. But this is kind of, and I don't want to attach it to The Last Jedi, but I understand why they kind of did that. After The Force Awakens, I think everybody, whether you liked the movie, hated it, or thought it was okay, I think everyone was intrigued by Snoke. I really think everyone wanted to know a lot more about him, to see if he was a Sith, to see if maybe he was, someone in disguise. I don't know. But from what I remember on Twitter, everyone was intrigued by Snoke. And then they kill him in episode 8. And I'm like, okay, so I guess he's really not that important. So from that perspective, and I'm not like, this isn't me blaming, this is just me pointing out that he was a director. Rian Johnson told us that Snoke really wasn't that important, right? So when episode 9 comes out and Snoke is a clone created by the Emperor, I thought it was pretty lame, but you just told me that he wasn't important. So fuck it. Fine, he's a clone. I really wish that Snoke was like the new Emperor and Kylo Ren was kind of like the Vader real apprentice and eventually became the main antagonist. And then I guess I'll just mention one thing that I didn't like about the entire sequel trilogy. So, like I said in the beginning, all in all, I enjoyed the story arcs. What I didn't like was the underutilization of Finn. And this is what I wanted. I wanted these 3 movies to be about Rey, her journey of being a Jedi, someone who, if she wasn't a Palpatine or she was, either way, I would have been fine. That really didn't bother me. But I wanted her, it was cool that she had no training and learned really fast. I really liked that. I wanted them to show Finn, like in episode 9, they gave hints that he was a Jedi. I would have liked more hints in the beginning, like episode 7 that he was a Jedi, and then 8, like kind of maybe Force connecting with Rey, not just him recognizing her or feeling when she's in danger, but her also feeling him. And if it happened, I missed it. But I would have loved that, and then I would have loved in episode 9 for her to wrap up. Rey is good, she's fully trained, she's a Jedi, she has her own saber. But I would have liked something where, like episode 10, 11, and 12 was now Finn's story. Like, that's what I thought they were trying to do. I thought 7, 8, and 9 was Rey's story with some background characters and Finn kind of teasing that he is a Jedi, which they kind of did. And then the next 3 were going to be about Finn. I would have fucking loved that. Oh my God. I still want a Finn movie with more, what's this guy's name? Oh my God. Oscar Isaacs. I forgot his character's name. It's embarrassing, but I know there's never going to be one because they, I guess, are sick of the Star Wars universe and the Star Wars toxic fans, which is a shame. Oh, but man, I would love to see a story about Finn as a Jedi. And you could still bring Rey back. She doesn't have to not be in it, but it's mostly about Finn. Or even if they made it like a Disney Plus series, like 8 episodes about Finn, man, that I think was wasted. What are you gonna do? But currently, I am on the Clone Wars, so I didn't know much about Ahsoka until I watched the Clone Wars movie. And now I have to watch all the episodes because my best friend told me it's amazing. And I really did like the movie. It was nuts. I like how they brought Samuel L. Jackson back to do his voice. So I'll have to check that out. I think I also have to watch Rebels, but I'll start with Clone Wars. I'm excited for all the shows that are coming out. I'm kind of interested to see if the internet's going to go batshit if they find out we're not going to see Grogu anymore, because the only way you're seeing him is if you see more of the Skywalker Saga. And apparently you guys hate that, but I'm sure if Baby Yoda's in it, you're going to love it. And that's fine. Whatever. I thought it was easier to just record this quick video than to tweet because I wanted to give just a little kind of background on why I feel this way and how I feel about the Star Wars shows and movies in general. But honestly, I don't understand how people can't just watch something and enjoy it with its faults. Like, you watch it, you say, I didn't like that. It's not what I wanted, but it makes sense within the story. I can't understand someone saying that these 9 movies don't make sense. Like, they're about the Skywalkers. Like, you knew something about the previous 6 movies was going to happen. I mean, could they have set up the Emperor in episode 7 and 8 if they were going to use them? Of course they could have. If Rian Johnson had all 3 movies, would it have been more cohesive? Yes. If J.J. Abrams had all 3 movies, would it have been more cohesive? Absolutely. And I read this on Twitter, and it kind of makes sense. Episode 9 kind of feels like 7 and his own 8 and 9 mashed into one movie. And it's just kind of unfortunate. Like, I really like how they let Rian Johnson do what he wanted, like write his own story. He kind of made it ambiguous that Rey was nobody. You could come out of episode 8 and say, yes, Rey is nobody. You could also come out and say, was Kylo Ren lying to her? Like, it was definitely open-ended, and JJ changed it a little bit. But I don't think he maliciously retconned things like the Luke Skywalker, his attitude. I honestly, that's the one part of the changes that I loved, because I saw it as in episode 8, Rian Johnson wrote Luke as, down in the dumps, didn't want to create another Sith, didn't want to train her at all. And just in episode 8, even Rian Johnson gave Luke an amazing character arc. He went from not wanting shit to do with her to risking his life and saving the last of the Resistance. Like, excuse me, that's a huge character arc. And then in episode 9, when he kind of catches the lightsaber, I didn't think that was shitting on Rian Johnson. I think it was Luke's character arc. He went from not caring about the Jedi, not thinking anything was sacred, and he kind of fucked up and learned his lesson. And he was like, no, I made a mistake. Don't make the same mistake that I made. That's how I saw it. And I know a lot of you just saw it as a slap in the face, but I didn't. I thought that was pretty well written. And what can you do? So that's pretty much all I had to get off my chest. Like I said, this wasn't a review video. It was just my thoughts. Yeah, that's about it. So tell me what you think below. Comment, like, hate, thumbs down. I don't care. I'm not, this isn't me trying to change your mind. I just wanted to give you my opinion. So until next time, maybe it'll be a camera video. Maybe I'll start doing reviews for like comic book movies and shows and Star Wars. Who knows? This page is a little mashup of everything. So enjoy the rest of your movie. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and be safe. Have a great holiday if you don't see any more of my videos. And have a good day. Talk to you later. Peace, everybody.